Hey, what's up, folks? How y'all doing? It's Effie once again, and this time I review one of the movies I got recently, which I haven't seen in a long time. I seen it last night again, and DVD has some pretty badass features, and that is, of course, the classic from the 80s, Return of the Living Dead, collector's edition with the hologram cover. I don't know if you could see real good the hand. Every time I let you see it, ooh, brains. You know, what's not to say about this film? This film is, I believe, it was written and directed by Dan O'Bannon. Now that name sounds very familiar because this man was behind. He was one of the writers, of course, behind Alien. I believe. I think Total Recall. And of course, favorite of mine and Matt's movie, Blue Thunder, Roy Scheider. And I guess this was one of the few movies he got a chance to direct. And the movie has an interesting cast. You have Glu Gulager, who you guys might remember. Glu Gulager, he was in, he played the father of Mark Patton's character in Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2, Freddy's Revenge. He's best known these days because he's in those movies with Feast. Those films. The first one is awesome. The last two films can go fuck itself. With his son John Gulager, who's a director, who directed and wrote those movies, and he plays a cool character in those movies. He's a cool character in here as well. And you have Glu Gulager in this film. You have James Curran, who everybody might remember him from the old guy that worked, plays the boss of Craig T. Nelson in Poltergeist. He was the guy that was moving the graves and everything like that. You know, the one that Craig T. Nelson yelled with, "You only move the headstones! Why?" He zooms in on fucking James Curran's face. I always remember him also because I remember when I was a kid, he used to do all those Pathmark commercials and stuff. For Pathmark. I said, hey, they have a Pathmark, you know? And shit. So I always remember from there. And then plus, the introduction of Tom Matthews. Tom Matthews, you've seen him, of course, in this movie and Friday 13 Part 6, Jason Lives. He played Tommy Jarvis. And I think he did two movies, two Albert Pyun films. So he's been around. This was his first movie, though. And you got Don Calfa. Don Calfa plays this character named Ernie, who's a mortician. Anyway, I'll get into the characters. You've seen Don Calfa around. He was that hitman on in that comedy, A Weekend at Bernie's and stuff. So I always remember Don Calfa from there and also from this movie as well. I'll go into the plot. I know I'm going on and on. It basically opens up in which we're at this warehouse where you have it's a Friday and you have this new kid who's played by Tom Matthews, Freddy. He's like a punk or whatever because this movie takes place I guess in 84, 83, which is when the movie came out. So you know you got the punk movie going on. So I guess he's working, trying to make ends meet or whatever. And he's working at this warehouse. In which one of the veteran workers who's there is Frank, this guy played by James Curran, whatever his name is, guy from Pathmark. He's there, he's Frank, and they have their boss Bert, played by Glu Gulager, and he's gone for the weekend, and they're staying there, and they're gonna work a little late or whatever. So the warehouse is a very interesting warehouse because they have like cadavers they deal with that hanged up in the freezer and stuff, and they like ship that out I guess to people in universities for autopsies and stuff like that, for medical schools. They got like dogs that are like they use for veteran school, like dogs that are like halfway you see half of their skeleton or whatever, dead dogs, skeletons. Weird warehouse, very strange. And you know, Frank is I guess playing with this kid Freddy, and he tells him something about, have you ever seen that movie Night of the Living Dead? And then he tells him like a scary story about the military and about this and that. Really, like, you know, get him to really just fuck with Freddy or whatever, you know. we got one right now in the basement, military, drum. And then the phone rings and Freddy gets scared, and he takes him down to the basement and shows him the little toxic canister that's there from the military. And Frank makes a big mistake and decides to whack it on the side, and it leaks out toxic gas and fumes, and they both get, you know, caught up in the fumes, and they pass out on the floor. And then the skull that's there starts turning colors. It's a cool effect. And then you have that score. I don't know who did the score for this movie. Yeah, who did the score? Let's see. It doesn't say shit. Fuck. Can't believe it. There's nobody has said the score of this movie. I can't believe it. But anyway, you got that song. You know, you got the whole thing. You see the smoke working its way up the pipes, and then it makes its way into this room with the frozen yellow dead person hanging in the freezers, moving and shit. On the hook still. And then they wake up after the credits go, and they start coughing like that, and then, make long story short, a lot of weird shit starts happening. Like they go to their area there, and they hear a noise coming out of the freezer room. They're like, "Oh shit, what's that? What's that?" And they're panicking, and Freddy's like, "Oh, what's going on?" And then they see like that dog, that cadaver dog, starts barking. He takes a crutch. Frank, he's like trying to hit it and everything. There's a weird stuff that starts going on and stuff. And they decide to call Bert, their boss, to tell him to come by and stuff. But meanwhile, all this is happening. You have Freddy's girlfriend, Tina, played by I think Beverly Randolph. I think I got her name right, Beverly Randolph. And the rest of their friends who are punkers. You have Scuzz. You have this guy, the lead punker, Suicide's girlfriend, Trash, is played by Luena Quigley. That's right, Luena Quigley's in this movie. And one of the other punkers, I guess, you have Miguel Nunez. Well, you've seen him in a couple of movies. I know you've mostly seen him in a lot of recent Eddie Murphy movies. Eddie Murphy, I guess, throws him a bone, gives him a job here and there. You know, and he was also in the Street Fighter movie with Van Damme. You know, he played DJ or whatever. And everything like that. I always remember from from that little sitcom he had called Sparks with Terrence Howard and Robin Givens. I always remember that from back in the 90s. So that didn't last that long. It was a fun show though. So he's in here. He's also in Friday the 13th Part 5, by the way. But they're there, and you know, they figured, okay, Freddy's getting off at 9 o'clock. Maybe they should go pick him up at his job. And right next to where his job is at, there's a cemetery. So being punkers as they are, they show up at the cemetery there. And oh, 1 second, sorry, just want to get a little warmer in here now. Okay, let me just close my window. Okay, that's better. All right. Okay, so there's a cemetery there, and what happens is they go there and they hang out and start partying, and obviously doing a little bit of vandalism. Like one of them is spray painting on one of the headstones, and they're just killing time there, I guess, until Freddy's hours are up and they go pick him up. But while all this shit's happening, and Bert shows up there, and Lou Gallagher's character, he's saying Frank and Freddy are trying to tell him what happened there, what they did. And there's a scene there very funny in which Lou Gallagher gives a pickaxe to Frank, James Curran's character, tells him, look, open that up, get there, and give him a whack, okay? Give him a whack. And then he's like hiding there, and Freddy's to the corner there. They open up, it's a nigga cadaver running and jumps right on top of Bert. There's a weird scene in which then it ends up getting on top of Bert. Bert fights off down. Then they hold him down. And Bert ends up taking the pickaxe, and he stabs it right into the guy's bald head. And the guy's just like, you know, not dying. He's, ah! It's one of the first zombie films that the zombies are really unstoppable. I mean, you can shoot them in the head, they still live. They run in this movie. This is the very first movie that does it back in the 80s. You wouldn't see zombies running again until 20 days later, and of course Dawn of the Dead remake, but that's a different story. Then what happens is A lot of weird shit go down. They end up hacksawing the cadaverous guy's head off, and he gets up headless and just starts knocking down shit. Cool practical special effect. Very good done. Very nicely done by who did the special effects? Okay, shit. I don't know who the fuck did it.